Every family has a comedian. It's uncle, a cousin, whatever. Every family has a comedian that's going to tell me the Bris joke I've never heard.
Two guys who were standing next to each other in Grand Central Station at the urinals, and one guy says to the other, he says, "Excuse me," he says, "Yeah." He says, "You from Borough Park?" He says, "Yeah. He says, "You go to maybe Congregation Sherry Tefillah?" He says, "Yes, as a matter of fact, I do." He says, "Is Rabbi Yablonsky still the Moyl?" He says, "No, he retired 20 years ago." "You're unbelievable. How do you know this?" He says, "Well," he says, "he cuts on the bias and you're peeing on my foot."
I would say that in America, in the United States, the Bris joke is part of the Bris experience. Now, the Moyl should not really be telling jokes. And if there's a rabbi there, the rabbi should not really be telling jokes.
Why are Jews the most optimistic people in the world? Because they cut off part of it even before they know how long it's going to be.
Every joke is told a little bit differently by each person.
So the emperor calls in these three samurais looking for a bodyguard, and he calls in the Chinese, Japanese, and Jewish samurai.
The first samurai, the Japanese samurai, comes up in front of the emperor, and the emperor says, "Do something to impress me." The Japanese samurai opens a box, out flies a gnat,
Takes his sword,
samurai, one fell swoop, drops that gnat in two pieces on the ground. Emperor goes, "Oh, that's very impressive." Chinese samurai, "What can you do to impress me?" The Chinese samurai comes out and he says, opens his box, out flies a gnat, two slices of his sword, the gnat falls dead into four pieces. "Oh," says the emperor, "this is very, very impressive. I like this." He goes, "Jewish samurai, you next." Jewish samurai walks up, opens a matchbox, out flies a gnat. Samurai goes, whoosh, whoosh, and the gnat is still flying around. Emperor says, "What is this? You have not killed the gnat." And Jewish samurai says, "Ah, Your Highness, circumcision is not meant to kill."
And they'll come up to me, they go, "Have you heard this one? Have you heard the one about the clock in the window?" And I'll politely say, "Not since the last bris I was at." And then I encourage them to tell me.
Woman's walking around Israel, her clock's broken. She's looking for a place to get it repaired. She passes a shop with clocks in the window. She walks in. She says to the guy behind the counter, she says, "My clock's broken."
"My watch is broken, could you fix it?" And the guy says, "Yid, I'm a Moyl, not a clock repairman."
You're a Moyl. What are all those clocks doing in the window? And he says, if you were a Moyl, what would you hang in the window?
He says, "I'm a Moyl. What do you want I should have in the window?"
And he says, "What would I put in?"
And I always laugh or chuckle. 2 points.
He's gonna have a cardiac arrest.
I didn't expect that one. It was like from left field.